And then we're kind of feeding into creating a monster. And she's like, oh, I can get what I want. And we...
Do you have one of those colors for me?
Yes. I think she might be the tiniest miracle canine client we've ever had.
Your house, is that the record?
Yeah. So how's the week been?
Good. We did a lot of the prong collar, which honestly helps so much.
Yeah.
And then we did, so the clicker, which I brought, I don't know if you want it.
Yes, sure. Hello.
That has been great for like bed training, but not so good like when she's outside going to bed. Like
Sure.
She like doesn't care. Like I'll click it and give her a treat. I don't know if it's because she's cold and she's like distracted, but she doesn't even take a treat. So inside works great. Beds have been good. Sits have been way better. He's been good. He hasn't really done anything, but I don't trust him that much.
Yeah. I mean, with this tiny of a dog, I think people don't realize it takes like a certain skill set to really keep them safe, because you have to navigate like so many scenarios that could actively like really hurt her. So I look at like risk versus reward. And obviously I know you're really careful with her with your parents' dogs, but I'd almost go to the side of like, just be really cautious when you're socializing her, because even if it's not intentional, or there's food down and they both go over the food.
Yeah, she's definitely awesome.
Yeah. I just try to keep her on one side. Good. I'm not super strict, because all I really want her to do is be following us. And kind of walk nicely at our heel. I always look at like, with my small dog, I like her at my side because I want to be her first line of defense. If something happens, maybe charged us, and I want to be able to get to the threat before she does, or before she's, like if an off-leash dog comes running over to us.
Yeah, tries to go ahead of me.
Yes, yeah. Good job.
So how do you do it? Do you shorten the leash?
So I'm just, as I'm walking with her, I'm just going to set a little bit of a standard here. So when she goes ahead of me, I'm just giving her a small little leash pop and guiding her back. And then if she's trying to cross over me every single time, ahead, she does that, I'm just going to guide her back to the left. So she's never successful with going to the other side. That helps us have an expectation of positionally where we want her. Oh, that's much better. Go ahead. And we can start building duration in positions. Not that puppies need to have a lot of duration, but it can be helpful, especially as you're navigating some of the potty training, where we're asking her to stay on her bed longer periods of time as she gets older, and it just gives her a spot to kind of chill out for a moment. So the idea would be if you're cooking dinner or you're doing something and you can't have your eyes on her, she could either be in her crate kind of resting, or be on a bed stay where we know she's able to stay on. We're not worried about her sneaking off to pee on the carpets. Duration usually in one command will transfer over to the other. So if we work duration with bed this week, we'll say goals to get to 10 minutes of her staying on the bed. Obviously, we would want to be in the same room as her and help her guide her back on. But that can transfer over to her sits too, where we're already practicing in one area. Not that it necessarily will be perfect in the sit, but it will give her the basis of the idea that I just need to stay put until mom releases me. And for puppies, I'm not looking for anything crazy like 30 minutes to an hour, but just starting to instill some of it can lead to really good habits as she's growing up and you just kind of want her out of your hair for a little bit.
So can you give her like a toy or treat or something, or like a longer lasting treat while she's on the bed, or should she be on there with nothing?
Generally, I want nothing on the bed because, again, like, I want her to learn how to relax, and like that can transfer over into the crate, that can transfer over to times that you can't interact with her. I always like compare it to, we don't always want to give a kid an iPad at any time that they're going to be bored. And it's just kind of healthy for dogs to learn how to like relax and sleep and not always have to be on or functioning or doing something. Good. Yes, good job. It's not wrong every now and then to give her a bone on the bed to chew on. But I try just not to make a huge habit out of that, because the one time we don't have a bone, I don't want her to be like, well, I can't stay on the bed.
Right, yeah.
Nice, good job. Is this one really chewy or something?
I know, she keeps putting it out and taking it
Get it? Okay.
Still a bed?
Good. Nice. And I'll just kind of float around. Her only job right now is just to stay on the bed.
Should I drop the leash?
Yeah, you can drop the leash. And the highest point of distraction when I'm really passing her, I want you to mark with good, or click, mark with good, and give her the reward. Because I want her to be really reassured that she made the right choice in the moment that was highly difficult for her. So like if people were coming in the door, if a toy were to fly past her, people were to get up from your couch suddenly, all of those moments are really good for her to understand she did a good work. Excellent. Nice. Nice. Beautiful, Stella. Hi, Kaya. Hi, Kaya. I don't even think she notices her. Hi, Kaya. What's that? She said, I don't even care about that dog anymore. Nice. Good opportunity. Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. It's like clicking right before the moment that she chooses to like really engage with the distraction. And then that kind of reassures her, oh, I did the right thing and I get a reward for it. Nice.
Is it timing okay?
Yes, perfect. Oh. Hi. Nice. Nice. Oh, what a cute puppy. Oh, hi, puppy.
Good.
And one more. Oh, hi. Hi. Excellent. And now she's learning to actively kind of control her impulses to go say hi to people. She's doing really well. Good job. Good. When I stop petting her, I also expect her to stand because you haven't released her yet. Nice. Perfect. Oh, this is already feeling night and day difference from last week. Yeah, right off the bat, this is much different than last week, where she's gotten used to walking with us. So I remember our first session, she was just bucking when she felt any leash pressure, and she had a really hard time with that. Good. Good. So we're on level 4, and she's going to be getting a very light sensation until her butt gets on the ground.
Level 4, that's all?
Yeah, so about a level 4, and we may go up as time goes on. Lucy, sit. But I'm just going to kind of press and hold. Come on. Good. Okay. And I'll help her a little bit in the first couple of reps with a little bit of that physical pushing her butt down.
This is fairly little.
Yes. Okay. It's just her way of trying to escape the pressure and turn it off. So sometimes she feels like she can climb us. Like when we were doing her nails that one time, she was trying to climb me. And that's just her way of being like, oh, I want to get out of this. Sit. And then I just want her to realize the answer. Good. It's just putting her butt on the ground. Good job. Okay? And that's how she's going to win the attention and the praise that she wants, rather than trying to demand it by climbing us or touching us. It's cute now, but I think as she gets older, it may start to get a little bit old. Good. Okay? And right now, I'm only focused on getting her butt on the ground smoothly. We're not adding any time into it, so I don't expect her to do it very long until we can get her to do it smoothly. Oh, good. Yeah, so if we kind of feed into her wanting to be picked up anytime she's nervous or scared or working through something, we're kind of reinforcing the state of mind that she should be scared, that she should be worried, that she should be freaked out by something, as opposed to when she's feeling a little bit of pressure, I want her to understand the answer is just putting her butt on the ground in this context, rather than kind of being like, oh no, pick me up. And it's difficult. I have small dogs and I'll pick them up sometimes, but I try to really give my affection to them at an appropriate time where they're not demanding it. There's nothing wrong with loving our dogs and giving them that affection. It's just, what are we reinforcing? So she's nervous right now. If I picked her up, I'm going to be giving her exactly what she wanted in the moment. And then she's going to realize all I have to do is my little circus move, and I get picked off, I get removed from the situation, rather than giving her the skills to go through things on her own. Yeah, so I want to ask her to get into the position first. I don't want to get in the habit of like bribing her with the treat. So the treat's only there after she's completed the task we've asked her to do. So I try not to like take the treat and go like get her, lure her up into a sit. Yeah. Because ultimately we don't want to live with in a world that we have to constantly bribe our dogs into doing stuff. And if we don't have an exciting enough treat or an exciting enough voice, that they won't listen to us. And I kind of just want to set the habit with her that you have to listen when we ask you to do something. So when she goes to put her paws on me, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to overwhelm her as we're asking her to get into the sit too. Good. But starting to correct her when she jumps on us or scratches us or is demanding affectionate behaviors. And that doesn't mean that we can't be affectionate with her. But again, we're looking at timing of things. And if we're doing it only when she's asking for it, we're kind of creating a little bit of a monster there. Okay? It's kind of like a slot machine where she's going to keep pawing you and jumping on you until she gets what she wants. And then we have her turn into kind of like an addict with that stuff. And if she understands, like, I can get mom's attention whenever I want, whatever I do, I can stop her in her tracks. That can lead to kind of an unhealthy mindset, having her always demanding things. Sit. Go ahead. Okay. She's just kind of a nervous dog, as you know, we've gotten into some of these lessons. Sit. And her confidence has skyrocketed since we've been doing stuff with her, but she's just taking in a new environment. She's still a young dog, so she's uncertain of the things that we're applying or we're saying. So she's always kind of questioning things. You can kind of see her body language is uncertain. But the more we work with her and the more that we're able to offer her guidance, the more comfortable and confident she's going to become. And we want her to be confident. We want a dog that's okay with not being constantly given affection or attention. We want a dog that's able to be independent. Sit. Good. Okay. Lucy, sit. Good job. Okay.
So I'm thinking what we can do is we'll kind of go through all the different test items. I'll talk you through what they're like, and then we'll practice them all with the e-collar, and then seemingly if that goes well, then we can do a run through even Sans e-collar and see just how he does with everything. I think the only thing we haven't done on here that hasn't been somehow incorporated in the training is just the supervised separation portion, which is basically just he has to like stay with somebody while you completely leave sight for 3 minutes, and he can't panic, which I don't see that in his future.
No.
So.
I have to pee, so can I run and pee while you guys?
Perfect, we'll do the supervised separation right at the beginning. Come here, Thor. Come here.
Wait, sir, he won't wear.
Good job. No, he probably will not. There he goes. He said, I'm here. I'll be here. Do you see the testing items? Yeah, we've got accepting a friendly stranger. You're doing great. Sitting politely for petting. Doing great. We got your appearance and your grooming. So you got me look in your ears. You gotta touch your toesies. Nice work. Oh, buddy. Isn't he the cutest? Are you gonna be a therapy dog one day? Yes, you are. Imagine this guy walking in to brighten your day. I know. I think he forgot you existed.
I know.
He said, wait, I know this lady.
Did you pass?
Oh, he passed. Yay. Good job, sir. Not a care in the world, really. Yeah. The first one is accepting a friendly stranger. This one basically is just like a mock. You run into somebody on the street and you want to say hi to him. He's not even a part of the equation. So it's just about our interaction and him being polite while it happens.
Okay.
So generally what we'll do is we'll just like walk towards each other. When you get close to me, you'll have him sit. We'll say hi, we'll shake hands, and then we'll just walk by.
Okay.
And he's just got to stay in a sit the whole time.
Or sit. Get to it.
Very nice.
Hi,
nice to see you. How have you been?
Oh, just great.
Oh my goodness, what a cute little guy, big guy you have here.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. I'll see you later. Nice to see ya. Brilliant, Thor. Flying colors.
Yay.
All right, now this is the one where I'll actually interact with him. So basically, you'll just walk him up, you'll sit him, I'll approach, ask if I can pet him, you'll say yes, and then I'll give him some little pets. Very good.
Or sit. That was better.
Can I pet your dog?
Yes, you may.
Well, perfect. Hello, sir. How are you? Nice to see you. Very nice. What a good boy.
Yeah, keep doing that.
Perfect. Appearance and grooming. All right, I brought my brush because he has to let me brush him lightly.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
He's furry.
What do you think? I know. These are nice little massage brushes. Ooh.
I like that.
Right on your butt. The butt scratches. Those are your favorite. How nice. How nice. And then I have to be able to, I know, to be able to inspect both feet. Oh, so nice. Thank you. Oh, that's really nice. Thanks. And I gotta look in your ears. Your ears are very clean. Yeah, that's really good. Let me see those teethers. Oh, that's a good boy. Very nice. Oh, wow, Thor, you passed. All right, so for the walking portion, so you're basically gonna walk around the room, and then I'm gonna tell you to make a left turn, a right turn, to stop, to start, and then you'll have to do a 180 at one point.
Okay.
So go ahead and walk him around.
Am I allowed to correct him?
You are allowed to correct him. You do everything you need to do. During the test, you will not be able to use the e-collar at all. So right now, I want you to correct him as if we were doing a training drill, if you need to, because we're obviously practicing and that's okay. But when he tests, you will not be able to use the training equipment. All right, go ahead and make a right turn. Perfect.
Turn?
Yeah, why not? You can do a 180, that's fine. Very good. Go ahead and do a left turn.
Maybe a wide turn.
Very nice. There's no rule on how sharp it has to be. All right, go ahead and stop. Very good. Go ahead and start walking with him again. Very nice. And go ahead and do one more 180, whichever direction you want to go. It doesn't matter to me.
Sorry.
Very good. Very nice. Good job, buddy. All right. Ace the walking. Now you have to show me that he can do a sit and a down.
Or sit. Or down.
Oh, perfect, buddy.
My favorite position.
Oh yeah, he really fully commits to the downs. Very, very nice. All right, if you want, you can, so you're allowed to pick either a sit or a down, whatever you think he's gonna do better with. And you basically have to leave him and then walk like the distance of that pole and then walk back to him. He said, this is easy peasy. Nice job, young man. And then we've got the coming when called. So what's interesting about this is that they don't actually have to be in position and hold a position and be recalled out of it for it to work. They literally allow like the judge to hold the dog, and then you walk away, and then you just have to call them to you and they have to come to you. But he can do better than that. So why don't you just leave him here? Walk about, what do they do? 10 feet, and then call him to you.
Thor, come. Oh. I know it's tempting, right?
Oh, Thor, very nice. And so the interesting thing about like Canine Good Citizen is that it's not an obedience test. It's more so like a temperament test / behavioral test. There's obedience incorporated in, obviously, but at like clearly like a very basic level. It's more so to just confirm that you have like general control over your dog, and that behaviorally they don't have any like dangerous behaviors. That's why a lot of times it's the prerequisite to like go to therapy dog. So when you're actually doing the test, and I'll go over all of this when we're actually doing it in February, but when you're actually doing the test, like you're allowed to repeat commands. You can help them on little things, like stuff like that. It can't be egregious, you know. Some of it is left to discretion of like the evaluator of like, okay, the dog clearly doesn't know it, versus like, okay, it's okay, she repeated the command, whatever. So there is some wiggle room with that, is what my point, is that he doesn't have to be like perfect, pristine, or anything like that. He can be Thor. There's room, yes, a little slow, a little like, oh, I guess so, you know, all of that is fine. All right, so now we have to do the reaction to another dog, so I'll go get my dog. Okay. Basically what we're gonna do is essentially the first scenario we did, where we approach, we shake hands, we talk, and then we walk by, just with another dog in the picture. So again, he can't go and up to my dog, he can't try to engage or anything like that. You've got to be able to stop him, sit him, we shake hands, say hi, and then we pass. So I'll go get him and I'll be right back. And so on this one, I will say, when you approach him, because he has a tendency to do that like swing around in front thing sometimes, see if you can stop him with your leash and make him sit next to you on this one, if he tries to do that. Lumos.
Or sit.
Sit. Thank you. Hi, nice to see you. How are you?
Oh, lovely.
Oh, I'm doing great. Look at your boy here doing so well. Very nice. And then we'll just walk by each other. Come. Sit.
Or sit.
You're slower than Thor today.
Wow.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see
How
you.
are you?
I was just peachy, ready
Oh,
for
wow.
Christmas. Yay.
Thor is. Look at him. He's looking very
He's
festive.
decked out, yeah. Ready to roll. Ready for
Cute.
Santa.
Perfect. Okay, our reaction to distractions. So usually I'll do like an auditory distraction and then some type of like visual one. So what I mean by that is I'll grab like a metal bowl and like throw it on the ground, and we'll see how he responds to like a really loud noise. And then a lot of times I'll just like run really fast in front of the dog or do something like that to see how they respond. And the rules with this one, or the expectations, is that he can't behave extreme in like one direction or the other. He can have a response, obviously that's normal, but he can't panic and he can't show any signs of aggression or anything. So, and if he gets startled, then he has to like recover reasonably and be like, oh, okay, I'm fine now. That wasn't that big of a deal. So I'll go grab a bowl. I think he passed.
What was that?
He said, why did she do that? So that seemed silly. Don't really get it. And that is a totally reasonable reaction. You can even ask him to sit again if you want.
Okay.
Very nice. Perfect. Yeah, that's all totally fine. As long as he doesn't bark at it or lunge at it or do anything crazy or get like so scared that then he just can't recover and he's freaked out. Oh, very nice, Thor. All right, and then we did the supervised separation and he did fantastic. So,
I see how I rate.
right. All right, so why don't you take off his e-collar? Perfect, and then you can even set your remote down and everything on the chair as well. Just because he doesn't have his e-collar on doesn't mean you can't use your nose if you need to, okay? So when you're working with him, if you give a command and he doesn't respond and you have to give it again, still add your no in there just to let him know that, you know, he did the incorrect thing. And then, like I said, don't be too worried about like him being perfect and pristine. You can give him a little bit of help through everything too. But we'll just go through them again. So we'll do the accepting a friendly stranger and have him sit.
Or sit.
Very good. Hi, how are you?
I'm great, and you?
Nice, I'm doing great.
That's great.
Oh, what a guy.
What a guy.
Very good. Now we'll do the one where I actually pet him. So you'll just put him in a sit.
Or sit.
Hi, can I pet your dog?
You sure can.
Well, perfect. Hello, Thor. It's nice to meet you. Wow, you're such a good guy. Oh, you're doing so nice. What a good boy. Bye, see you later. Appearance and grooming portion. Oh, you want more butt scratches?
Of course.
Of course, very nice. Some nice brushing, this is great.
Brushing.
Yeah, these are nice brushes for that. Good for you short-haired dogs. All right, let me see the toesies. Fantastic. The other toesies. Thank you. And just look in your ears. Oh, very nice. Oh, very nice. Oh, that's really good. Look at those teethers. I know. I don't even think I have to look at your teeth, but I do it anyways. Good job. Now we'll do the walking. So go ahead, walk him around the room, and I'll call out the different directions for you. Go ahead and turn left. Very good. Go ahead and turn right. Very nice. Go ahead and stop. He said we can't stop for too long. All right, go ahead and start walking again.
Okay.
And do a 180. Very good. Let's see your sits and your downs. Very good. Go ahead and leave him there and walk 20 feet away.
Thor, come.
Very nice. Good job, buddy. Right. All right, and then let's see. We'll do our reaction to another dog. Come. Lumo, sit. Good boy. You can have him sit. Very nice. Hi, how are you? No, sit. Sorry, I'm training my own dog now, apparently. Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Wow, he's doing such a good job. This is amazing. All right, come. Oh, our distractions again. Brilliant. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Wow, Thor. If there was ever a dog meant to be a therapy dog, it's this one. Supervised separation. I'll take him again.
Okay.
And I'll actually set a timer this time. So go ahead and just go on that side. And when you hear my timer come off, you can come back. He made it. Wow, Thor. So nice. Good job. And even how they respond, like when you come back into frame, I take that into account too. So like if the dog like gets crazy and starts pulling, trying to get over to you and stuff like that, that would not be ideal. So the fact that he waited nice and politely for you to come back is good too. The one thing we didn't run through that we'll do now that I skipped on accident is this walking through a crowd thing. So what we'll do is I'll actually have Paige be part of our walking through a crowd. So me, Paige, and I'll stagger like Lumos, just kind of in the room, and you just kind of have to weave around us. And he's got to prove that he can walk around us without trying to like, you know, go up and say hi. Technically, they're allowed to show casual interest, they say, but they can't be jumping up or doing anything egregious. And then you can just kind of weave around us.
Is the leash okay?
Yes.
I'm used to holding it like that.
Yep, the leash is totally fine like that. When you're doing walking drills during the test with him, the only thing I'm really looking at is that there's not constant tension.
Okay.
So even if there's slight tension at times because maybe you're having to give him a little bit of leash guidance on turns and everything, that's fine. But we just don't want it to be fully tense at all times. And like I said, you can talk to him as much as you want. You can do whatever. Give him encouragement. There's no rules on any of that. Perfect. All right, that looks good. Lumos, please. No, that was great. So we hit all the points, and like honestly, he didn't do anything today where I'm like, oh, you should really like work on this. He did fantastic. So I mean, as far as like the practicing, you most certainly can. I'm gonna send this home with you so you have it. So you can definitely practice the drills, but I don't see, there's nothing, as long as you maintain his obedience skills over the next couple months and you just are consistent with everything we've already been doing, I don't see his ability to pass this changing in February if you didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Because he did really, really well. I will say that even though you're gonna be doing the test without the e-collar in that moment, still use the e-collar consistently for these next 2 months, even when you're practicing. I wanted to do it today because I just wanted to make sure there wasn't some drastic difference. You know what I mean? Because that would honestly highlight maybe some holes in our training or what you've been doing at home with him anyways, if there was, because that shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be a big behavior difference when you take the e-collar off on a dog that's been e-collar trained, and he didn't, which is great. So that means you're doing all the right things at home. He's looking good. So as long as you keep doing what you're doing, then when we do the testing, he should be totally fine. The reason we don't use vibrate is because it's not adjustable. It's only one level. So sometimes, depending on the dog, the vibrate can be really overwhelming. And sometimes with dogs, it can be nothing at all. And there's no way to adjust the intensity of it with the vibrate and have it feel the same. Because if you think about it, if you're like, let me try vibrate and see if it works, and then it doesn't work, and then you go to stim, that's a completely different sensation, and it can get kind of confusing. It also means that we're using like a system that involves like a warning, and I don't believe in warnings. I think that a dog just needs a clear understanding of what behaviors are okay and not okay. Because when you're using an e-collar, the context that you're implementing it in is in two ways. So either you're implementing it to eradicate a nuisance behavior. So for instance, a behavior that you want to just get him to stop doing, that would be like jumping, play biting, getting on the counters, chewing things he shouldn't, eating mulch, whatever. He doesn't need to know anything to be able to learn not to do that stuff. He just needs to be corrected so that he doesn't do it again. Whereas the other avenue you implement the e-collar is in obedience commands. So you're creating a command and a behavior that you want to solicit from the dog. And if you're going to use an e-collar throughout that process, you basically want to make sure that that command has been thoroughly taught before you're correcting for non-compliance, right? Because for the dog to be able to avoid the correction in that context, they need to know how to perform the desired behavior. Does that make sense? Yeah. So in either of those contexts, it doesn't really make sense to use like a warning. You know what I mean? Because if I ask you to sit and you don't sit, I don't want to warn you before I just correct you. You just know you should sit, and so I'm going to hold you accountable for it. Same thing with eating mulch. I don't want you to eat mulch and then get a warning and then hope you stop. I just want to correct you at that point so that next time you don't eat the mulch.
The commands that we're learning so far, like sit, he'll do in a controlled environment,
Sure.
but not in an uncontrolled environment.
Yeah.
Right, so we took him for a walk, and there was another dog.
Yep, the big distractions.
The big distractions,
Yep.
So at what point do you feel like, do you say, okay, he should know this, but
Sure.
he's not doing it?
Yeah.
Versus is that, like, is there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the difference between like deliberate disobedience versus confusion or lack of knowledge type of thing.
Yeah, or confusion, or like, he hasn't learned it in that situation yet.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
the
think,
other factors of the environment, like, are contributing to him not
yes.
complying.
Yes, yeah, and that's where kind of applying the accountability to it in a controlled setting so that he starts to understand in a very easy environment, okay, so this is the command they're asking me to do, and if I don't do it, there is some accountability to that. You do tend to find, even in the uncontrolled environments where there's more distractions, a little bit of a shift as well, because that concept of accountability has already been introduced. And now in his mind, he's like, oh, if I don't sit because I want to go visit that dog instead, I know that there's actually something that they're going to do that is a consequence, right, for that. And then obviously we introduce those distractions little by little, and then we work him through it phase by phase as well, you know, to make sure that it's generalizing into like those situations too then.
Potty training, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
But he will still, like, we'll catch him getting ready to go
Sure.
poop.
Okay.
Like you can tell he starts to like
Yeah, his little circle.
Yeah, and we were like, yeah, and then like yesterday he literally was like
Right about.
on the walk out, like
Sure.
like it's literally dropping as he's walking out
Sure.
the door, and then like he finished outside.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
started outside.
Sure.
Right, like so if we see that
Mm-hmm.
indoors, is that something that you would consider like
To correct for.
correct for, or is that
I don't correct for potty training issues. I will correct for marking. Like, say you have an older dog who's just like lifting his leg on stuff in the house to mark, I'll correct for that. But potty training, I don't. Because the hard thing for potty training is that it's the act of going to the bathroom that he's going to connect the correction to, and then you have a dog who's just scared to go poop, you know? So with the potty training, it truly is more of just like a routine thing and trying to be one step ahead of when that moment happens, you know, and just letting him out a little bit more frequently probably. Or just like really heavy supervision.
playing time and walk around and
Well, and so,
inside and start to circle?
okay, well, that's a good thing to bring up then. So if you've taken him out and he pretends he doesn't have to go, and we know that he probably does because he hasn't gone in a while, bring him in and put him in the kennel. Make him wait there 10 minutes and then go out again. It's not a punishment for not going that you're putting him in the kennel. It's a management technique because he's not going to poop in there. So if you bring him in and you're like, I know you have to poop, but you didn't do it out there, and I'm not standing out there for another 30 minutes while you pretend you don't. We're coming in, you hang out in the kennel for 10, 15 minutes while I go do something else, and then you go get him, and you immediately go back outside and you try again. And you kind of repeat that process until he's actually gone out there. All right, we're going to work with the bed command. So similar to how we were doing last time, we're going to give the verbal cue on its own without any leash pressure, and we're going to see how he responds. Bed. Good. I got to grab your snacks. I forgot to get some before we came over here. Very nice, sir. Okay. We can do our okay to release him. Come here, Blue. I know, right? Bed. He said, we always go back and forth. That's what the plan is. Good. Here, I'll give you one of these. Okay? So the way we're going to start implementing the e-collar is that if, for instance, I give him the command and he doesn't do it, or he does it, but then he jumps down before we release him officially, we're going to start marking with the word no to identify the exact moment that he did the thing we didn't want. Then we're going to just tap our button, and then we're going to repeat our command to have him start all over again, basically. So the no is just a marker, identifying the time that he made that wrong choice. The e-collar tap is the correction for it. And then we repeat the command to begin again and reiterate what we wanted him to be doing. Bed. Good. Very nice. And similar to what you had kind of brought up earlier of knowing like the difference between like, is he not doing it because he doesn't understand, or does he not understand in this context or whatever? Obviously in this context, he clearly knows what we're asking him to do, right? So we can introduce the idea of corrections in an age-appropriate way with an appropriate level to start adding in a little bit more stability and reliability with the command, and then we'll gradually generalize it to bigger distractions and things like that. No. Blue. Bed. Very nice. So there, he stepped down before I released him. So as soon as that first foot hit the ground, I marked with my no, I did my tap, and then I repeated that command. And I tried not to use any physical leash help throughout that whole process. If after I did that whole cycle, he still wasn't back up on that bed, then I could use my leash to help him if I needed to. No? Blue. Bed. I like your Christmas bow tie. You look very festive. Okay. Bed. Good. And now something to note too is that if he's having a hard time staying on the bed, no, bed, even with me standing next to him, then instead of walking away from him like I was starting to do initially, I'm gonna take a couple steps back and make sure that this looks a little bit more solid and stable, and then I can revisit that difficulty once this looks a little bit better. No, blue, bed. There you go. Okay. Bed. Good. Now that those looked a lot better, now I'll revisit maybe taking a step or two away, so not very far at all. I know. He really takes his time chewing those, and it's adorable. Some dogs just swallow them whole. Good. It's nice that you enjoy them. Just slime all over his mouth. Good. And so with this, the key to when you guys are working on this at home is I want you to prioritize, like, when you're doing the sessions, you should feel like his successes are like far outweighing the failures. So if you're having to do a lot of correcting, then we're probably maybe just progressing to difficulty levels that are just a little bit too advanced for where he's at, right? So like you saw me, he was really struggling. So I kind of took it a few steps back to where he could be really, really successful, and then built my way back up to where now he's doing a lot better with me walking away and then coming back to him. Good boy. Because obviously if a dog is failing and getting corrected a lot, that really depletes their confidence of their ability to be able to do it. And it also means that there's some type of disconnect somewhere along the way, you know, whether it's, and especially with a puppy, that disconnect is likely he just isn't proficient in it enough to be held to that standard. Good. Very nice. And it's much more beneficial to like take your time and really build a super strong foundation with the dog where they're confident and they feel like they truly understand the commands than to try to rush ahead too fast. Because it's harder to backtrack on that stuff where it's not going to do him any harm to just move through it at a slower pace. Or a normal pace, I should say, for a puppy. But it'll feel slow to us. Because humans are generally pretty impatient. Okay, good job, sir.